Hey there, friends. Hey, it is Plausible Deniability time. Woohoo! So excited to have y'all here. I am Michael Cross.
Brook Bullock.
Johnny Payne.
Ooh, it's like a well-oiled machine.
Nail it
Yes.
every time.
That was freaking beautiful.
We don't.
Spoiler
Can I
alert,
just-
we don't.
We don't.
Narrative voice.
Right off the bat, I've got to say, my shirt finally came in. Woo!
that.
So I ordered about a week later than kind of a lot of other people did, and then this shirt, like my shirt,
No.
like I'm it just came in 2 days ago, and I was actually sitting down to write, an email to the company to say, I need this shirt because it's the show that I'm like, where is it? And then it showed up on the doorstep. So woohoo!
That is
That's
awesome.
from the merch department. Not to go right into sales right away, but man,
Hey, there's a couple of things we need to touch on. One, go to our website, reddirtdnd.com or reddirtrpg.com. Hit our merch button. Buy something. Buy stuff. I don't have any of my stuff here. I didn't get a hat though. I'm very excited about that. I'm hoping to get that hat for SoonerCon. I want that
Sweet.
hat. I want that hat so bad.
Screwdriver.
Sonic?
And
Is it Sonic?
These things,
Who looks at a
these
screwdriver
things
says
are
it needs to be more
super
Sonic?
soft.
Sorry.
Oh no, they're so super soft. Like they're just fantastic. And it's that, like it feels like it's almost like woven into the shirt. It doesn't feel like an iron on or anything weird like that. Like it's even the big one, right? It's so great. It's just awesome.
I tell you, the hoodie, I got the hoodie and the zip up hoodie. I mean, I had people walking up to me just feeling it. It's like, this is really good quality. It really is, folks. The hoodies, the shirts, they are so good. I'm looking forward to seeing what the hat is like. So go to reddirtdnd.com or reddirtrpg.com. Click on the merch button. Second thing we need to talk about, subscribe. Folks, subscribe to this because we are building, we're getting stronger, we're getting faster. We just had our new episode of the Red Dirt Outlaws, launched our first episode on Tuesday, and it hit hard. People are watching it. Lots and lots of views. Mysteries of Beatrix, of course, awesome. We're going to have new shows coming up with Ruffles and Falcor with Mark. We've got a whole bunch of stuff coming up. So subscribe. The more you subscribe, the better YouTube keeps an eye on us and sends us out to other people to watch. So subscribe, get your friends to subscribe, go to your grandparents, your parents, and just have them subscribe. They won't even know. Just subscribe them and it'll be good.
It's been a
You say
good
subscribe
week.
one more time. I'm driving to your house.
It's been a good week at Red Dirt. I mean, we had Mysteries of Beatrix, had some great
Flicks.
that them Mauve. They had some great views, and the Outlaws had some great views. And Michael Cross, any news about downloads from Red Dirt?
Gosh, this was our best month, our fourth best month now, and it's weird to say because fourth best, whatever. But we were doing so badly in May, and then school ended, and people started listening to us again, and we took off. On last Friday was 500 and more than 550 downloads in one day. It was ridiculous. We have again, we're with KOSU. We're KOSU's circle of podcasts. So with us and with the KOSU Daily, and this past week again, the KOSU Daily. We beat the KOSU Daily, which is a daily podcast. We beat them in 7-day average downloads, which is
crazy.
Yeah.
And the KOSU Daily
should start asking us for permission.
Yeah.
What was that, Johnny? I was talking.
Maybe KOSU should start asking us for permission to do podcasts.
Yeah. Well, we had. I'm very excited about this because one of the things I also figured out was how to take those mid-show breaks and pull them out, and I can insert my own mid-show break that into every episode. So even if you've never listened before, and you go and you listen to our pilot episode right now, you will have an updated mid-show break that tells you about merchandise. It tells you about Plausible Deniability. It tells you about the other YouTube shows we got going on. It tells you about all these things that are current, where if you'd listened to the pilot episode 2 weeks ago, you would have heard the one we put down 3 years ago, which of course is way out of date. But it's got updated information about Patreon. It's got updated information about SoonerCon. It's got updated information about all these things. So if you tell somebody, hey, you need to listen to this right now, during their mid-show break, they will have updated information for what's going on right now, no matter what episode they're listening to. So very excited about that. Thank you so much to Captivate, who helps put our podcast together. Those guys are just awesome. They walked me through the whole thing. Boom, done.
That's outstanding.
So thank you to Captivate. If you ever think about doing a podcast, go to Captivate. It costs. It's not free like some of your free ones, but it's worth the cost. You get what you pay for. You know, it's just
100%.
There are free ones out there, but they're not worth it.
Yep.
All right. I think we've gone 6 minutes in. Everybody here?
Yeah.
How many people we got watching right now?
Woo!
Who we got?
I don't know, 97 or 9.
9 people watching right now. Kendra Thulu, Sofa Dog, Andrew. Didn't I see? There's Ruffles and Falcor. I knew I had him here.
Ruffles.
Yay!
Guys, thank you so much for watching us. Are you guys ready for some trivia?
Trivia! Woo!
Trivia. Here it is. We're going to start with Magic and Miscellany. The spell Wall of Force creates a barrier in the material plane that extends into which other plane of existence?
The wall plane.
Isn't that the Pink Floyd's The Wall plane?
Wall of Force. The Star Wars plane.
The Star Wars plane.
Oh, yes. It's true. It's in the tagline. Like, the Force will be with you.
There it is.
Always.
The Wall of Force will be with you.
Yeah. Ruffles brings up a good point. This is SDWA Gaming. Thanks for your dice support for the Red Dirt Outlaws.
Oh, yes.
Good stuff for the whole network. Yep.
Yes. We do love
Ruffles and Falcor.
We're gonna
coming in.
Ruffles and Falcor got it. It is the ethereal plane. First off, just mention real quickly, SDWay Gaming. I'm listening currently to SDWay's other podcast that they support, Of Dice and Friends. That's really good, folks. Check out Of Dice and Friends. I'm on episode 33 now, 34. They just released episode 40, so I'm getting closer to getting all caught up on them. So check out Of Dice and Friends. They're very good. We really enjoy them. Okay, history. What seminal card game gave Wizards of the Coast the money to acquire TSR? Okay, don't answer, guys. I know you really want to. Guys, it's all you in the chat bot.
Who can type?
Who can type it the fastest? What seminal card game gave Wizards of the Coast the money to acquire TSR?
Who can type Pokemon the fastest?
Yahtzee. Crazy Eights.
Andrew.
Woo!
Yeah. I would have also accepted MTG.
Yeah. Or Cardboard Crack.
Yeah. I've really tried to learn how to play that. I got the digital version and I've got the cards and I've kind of tried to play. It's not my game. I love the cards. I love the cards. And I love the art. So I could really totally dig and get into that. But as far as a game, it's not my thing. So
yeah,
kudos to everyone who does play MTG, because it's not a game that everyone can play. So for those of you, for those of you who do and spend a lot of money, I'm more power to you. All right. I think this one's monsters
and miscellany.
The Dow is a type of genie associated with which element? The Dow, it's DAO, is a type of genie associated with which element? Y'all got 4 to choose from. Or 5 if you're watching Captain Planet.
For a half second, I thought you were mispronouncing dark elves. And I was like, Michael Cross. You know?
So there is news about the drow and the
yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
Pathfinder
coming in hot.
Oh, whoa! Who came in first?
I think Ruffles just barely.
I think it was
just milliseconds.
Ruffles and Falcor.
Oh my!
He's got 2.
Is it?
He's got 2.
Woo!
Andrew's got 1. Look at that, guys. Okay, here we go.
Andrew's hunting tonight. You can tell he's ready.
Andrew wants it. Andrew wants it badly. Here we go. We're going into adventures. Adventures. In what 1978 module were the drow, who were called Only Legend in the 1977 Monster Manual, originally specified?
Oh.
I know it.
Yeah.
Is S. Jones in the house? Because this is right up his alley. I don't think he's in the house tonight. Oh, no.
Huh.
And you know this one. You guys should know this one. Really, you guys should really know this one. Andrew is not Underdark.
It's looking for a specific module name, right?
Module name.
Yeah. Just says something of Dark Princes. Good guess.
Sorry, I had to lift up my chair there. All right. And
Elven Loft. Raven Drow.
Drowsville.
Oh, did Andrew get us an answer?
Nope. And here's why. I can tell you. The drow are mentioned, but it's not one of the what were those? The E1 through 3? Is it the Vault of the Drow and the there's a whole bunch of drow ones. No. And Queen of the Drow. See, no. But here's the hint, guys. Here's the module leads into those modules. They're mentioned. They're mentioned. They're not actually the main. And if you played this, you could have played it from this module on into the Drow series. Kinder Thula got it. Hall of the Fire Giant King. And if it's G3, if you went through the Giant series against the Giants, you could take it through against the Giants and then into the Vault of the Drow series. That was the whole, because they were mentioned. That's where they were first mentioned as of that the Giants were working with the Drow to do bad stuff. Yeah.
And Ruffles and Falcor, that was my guess. I was also thinking it was the village of Hamlet. That's what I thought it was. But Hall of the Fire Giant.
Village of Hamlet leads into
the Temple of Elemental Evil.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So. Okay. Blue. I can't remember what Blue is.
Channel in our Discord server in the Plausible Deniability channel. Ruffles and Falcor is hacking and photoshopping the screenshot to make it look like he got the answer for Magic first. I think it's a lag issue. I think on his screen it legit showed that he got the answer first for Magic, but on my screen it shows that Andrew got the answer first.
Yeah, I'm just going by what it says on here. There might be a little bit of a lag there. We need to get Ruffles and Falcor better internet. That's get you the high speed. He's still working up on dial-up there. It's the problem.
Well, it's all the birds. It's the ravens. They're working on overdrive over there. So.
Okay. So, characters. Here we go with characters. How many times was Saint Solars martyred? Once, twice, or 3 times?
Okay, on these multiple choice, you only get one shot.
Yeah.
So don't say 1 and then say 2 and then say 3. Your first answer you type in is your answer. Repeat the question, Michael.
Yes. Here we go. How many times was Saint Solars martyred? Once, twice, or 3 times?
But did it turn him into a lady?
I was gonna say once, twice,
3 times.
Three times.
Okay,
Man.
so I'll have to give it to Kender Thulu because he's got the number 2 and actually put in twice. He is. That is why he is usually called Saint Solars, the twice martyred.
Oh.
If anybody out there knows who this person is, keep it to yourself.
Knowledge is power. Does Kinder Thulu know? Tell us in the chat. Who is that? I don't know who it is.
Kender Thulu, if you know,
So
maybe you
I thought
just
maybe
guessed.
it was new.
Yeah.
But
If Kender Thulu, if you
maybe it's
guessed, I wonder if that's a. Oh, that might be. He might be a. I wonder if that's a Kryn character.
doesn't. Oh, maybe.
He might be because I know he's not. I don't think he's a Forgotten Realms. So anyway, here we go.
You don't think he's from the Sword Coast?
I don't think he's in the Sword Coast. And I don't think he's Greyhawk. All right.
This is our last question.
This is Cosmology. This was probably going to be pretty easy because I pulled it from the Cosmology Easy title. So here we go. Which of the outer planes embodies nature's wildness and beauty and speaks to the animals within all living things? Which of the outer planes embodies nature's wildness and beauty and speaks to the animal within all living things? Oh. Kender Thula has no clue. Oh, he has no clue about that one. That was a statistical choice. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So he is from Forgotten Realms. Okay.
Saint so-and-so, the twice martyred.
He was the patron saint of Bloodstone Pass.
Oh.
Which is in Bloodstone Valley, which is nowhere near the Sword Coast, which is why most people haven't heard of who he is.
That's true.
That means you have to play another edition of D&D besides 5D to know about such things.
If we put Andrew's 4 things of wild typing together, he says Feywild.
I want to go to Frywild. That just sounds like that's like come on down to Frywild if you want to try some Frywild. We fry everything here, no matter what. We got sprites, we got fairies. They're all fried.
We got fried. Can you sprite with that?
I can get a sprite with that.
That's fantastic.
No, so no one's gotten it. So I really actually thought this would be easier. Remember, it is an outer plane, and I don't think the Feywild is actually an outer plane. It's an outer plane, like the inner plane, outer plane,
like where the atmosphere is,
or like the outer planes are, where like the Mount Celestia and the Hell and Hades and the Abyss. All right. I don't think you guys got a guess.
I was going to say Elysium.
Okay. Well, at least you got an outer plane there. That was good.
It's the only one I could think of.
Anyone? No. Okay. It is the Beastlands, also known as the wilderness of the Beastlands. So there we go. Thank you all for playing. I think who's our winner here tonight?
Woohoo! Right. The winner tonight is a tie between Ruffles and Kender.
There we go.
But Ruffles was here last week, and so he now has a total of 4 points. Woohoo!
All right, folks. So if you were here last time, I had mentioned, I had let it slip that I had never, in fact, seen Short Circuit.
Guilty of a major crime.
And here's the
I
thing.
mean, the only thing worse would be not have seen like Jurassic Park or something terrible like that.
There's a couple things. First off, you got to understand, it came out in 1986. Okay. By that time, I was already dancing at the rec room. I was going out weekends to Rocky Horror Picture Show. I had a life, folks. I'm not
Just
giving it up
bragging now.
for this thing. I am not, to me, it was already past. And it was always one of those shows that I thought someday it would be nice to watch it. So finally, I did.
Being pressured by the chat room and names that we won't mention, Johnny.
Right.
He succumbed to the pressure.
But here's the thing. I watched it on Sunday.
Yeah.
And I did not watch it alone. I had my wife, who had seen it back then, but had not seen it since then.
Okay.
And I had my son and his girlfriend, who now for me, I knew what it was about because I remember the trailers. I remember people talking about it. I remember the "Who's Johnnie?" he said, and I remember all that stuff. So I knew what it was about, but they didn't. They had no clue, and I didn't tell them anything. I said, "We're just going to sit down and watch
you didn't even
Short
let him
Circuit."
Watch the trailer?
Nope.
Oh.
We sat down and watched Short Circuit. Now, the first moment of the whole thing is when Aiden goes, "Lightning's going to strike. He's going to give him sentient, isn't he?" Oh, I called it.
I bet Aiden's fun at parties.
Yeah. The second was, oh my gosh, the dialogue, folks, is horrid. Oh, it is so bad. It is. I mean, it is. First I thought this thing's dubbed, right? This thing's got to be dubbed because it sounds like someone was speaking in a different language. They badly misinterpreted it and gave it to people to dub into those voices.
Come on.
Oh, they are horrid. They are horrid. Ali Sheedy. Oh my gosh. The entire time she spoke, I swear to God, it wasn't her voice. It had to have been somebody else dubbing her voice into somebody else's head.
For a brief moment, though, could you have gone back in time and thought to yourself, 80s quality, 80s level production?
No, because I've seen 80s quality production. Let's take a look at 86, okay? Pretty in Pink, Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
So I've seen some Breakfast Club streaming before on some obscure network streamers that they actually do dub it because there's
but I'm not right. No. Yeah, but I'm not talking about dubbing for that way. I'm talking about I'm talking about the dialogue was such crap. The dialogue was horrid. And the movements, there was one moment where Johnny 5 was trying to convince Ali Sheedy to come dance with him. And she goes, no, I'm tired. As she is bringing herself in to dance with him because you had to do that. It was just and she was, I mean, I love her in Breakfast Club. I love her in the other John Badham. By the way, this is John Badham Productions, who also did War Games. Also with Ali Sheedy.
It's on my list. We're going to watch it sometime in a couple days.
Also with Ali Sheedy. And she's good in that. She's good in Breakfast Club. Of course, she doesn't say anything in Breakfast Club. That might have been the reason. Oh my gosh, Steve Guttenberg is horrible. The greatest part was the guy who does the Indian accent. That was the only thing worth, and I can't remember. He's still doing stuff.
Yeah.
So it was great. I thought he was hilarious. He had some great moments. And really the only ones that really made us laugh were from him. And then, oh my gosh, there was the inappropriate joke from Steve Guttenberg to see if Johnny had a sense of humor. The racist joke that I was like,
about the greedy priest,
the greedy rabbi.
Right. Yeah,
it was yes. It was yes. I was like, oh no, he didn't. Oh no. Yeah. It's not a good movie, folks. It's not. I mean, even by 80 standards, folks, it is not. It's not a good. Now I understand there's always nostalgia involved in anything you watch, and sometimes you think about where you were at the time. But
True. That's me.
and I feel like that way. I mean, it's like how I feel about like things like Highlander, Flash
Oh,
Gordon, Kroll. I mean, I don't know if they're really good movies or if it's the way I feel about them that make them good movies. So anyway, that's my review. Now, you showed me on Short Circuit 2, there was a blurb from Siskel and Ebert showing 2 thumbs up. It's better than the original. Did you see the second one?
I did see the second one, although I don't remember it.
No,
So
I mean, do you
I
have
know
the
that I saw
DVD?
it.
Did you watch it?
Oh no, we didn't check it out.
Oh,
So I just
I
went,
gotta know.
So
I
now
gotta
you have
know.
to know.
Because if it's actually better, I mean, maybe, but yeah. Oh,
You can watch the first 6 or 7 minutes, and you'd probably know if it was better, right? So
I guess so.
you
I
can
just, it was, so bad movie, folks. Bad movie. Goonies, Mannequin. I mean, Police Academy. Yeah. Again, I don't know if a lot of these movies, it's hard for me to judge. It's hard for anybody who's seen Short Circuit. If you saw it as a kid, you will see it again and remember who you were as a kid.
Yes.
So I'm saying that Kroll and Flash Gordon, those kinds of movies, I don't know if they're good or not. I mean, I believe they're good. I love them. I absolutely adore them. And I can watch them over and over and over again. But that's because of who I was when I watched them and what I felt
Goonies
about
is still good. I've seen it within the last 3 or 4 years, and
Yeah.
Goonies is still good.
Yeah, and Goonies is good. I did watch it recently.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
any other thoughts about Short Circuit that you want to talk about? Come on, Brooke. I know because you saw it. So
Yeah, go ahead, Johnny. What do you want to say? Go.
Mine's a whole. It touches on what Michael said, but it's a whole different spectrum of
Oh.
stuff.
Okay, no worries.
It's so okay. If we were watching a movie and there was a Latino actor making a joke about, so this group of Mexicans roll up, right? And it was funny, we laugh. Steve Guttenberg is Jewish.
I just still think I still think it was an inappropriate joke. I don't know. It doesn't matter whether it was
Maybe if he'd have been like actively Jewish as a character in the movie or something, then it would be like, oh, of course, or something. But yeah,
if he was a rabbi, then maybe I could have. Yeah, if he was a
he
rabbi,
was a
then maybe. Of course, if he
Joke.
was a rabbi, I don't think he would have invented Johnny Five. So I don't know how that would work, but because the guy who was playing the Indian was sometimes a little self-deprecating, but that's okay because it was kind of funny because it was coming from himself. So yes, had Steve Guttenberg been a rabbi and said the joke, maybe I could have accepted it. It's like someone saying if Irish people, if they make fun of, they say they're drunk
Right.
or whatever.
Yeah,
But it's Steve Guttenberg being an actor, being Jewish doesn't really that doesn't really work for how inappropriate the joke was. There were jokes. There were great jokes in the 80s. Why would you pick that one? It just also not really that funny.
Movie did it take you, or if you even experienced this, because after watching it, originally in the 80s, I would go back and I would watch it, and I would halfway through the movie I would go, what is Steve Guttenberg's role in this? Is he just Ali Sheedy's boyfriend? Oh, right. He worked at the place and he made Johnny Five.
He's the
I
inventor.
would forget that. Every time I'd watch it, about halfway through, I'm like, man, this guy's just really upset. Oh, he made him. Somehow the movie just makes you easily forget what his whole role was briefly. And he's just like, I'm chasing this girl, and then this robot showed up. I'm like, man, how can I score a date with this girl with this annoying robot here? Yeah. Cocoon was an amazing movie. Ken Cthulhu.
Yeah.
So I'm a little surprised you hate it so much, but the thing that surprised me the most is in rewatching it, I was just cringing the whole time at the guy with the really heavy Indian accent, especially Hindu accent, especially when they were like, where he's like, "Where are you from?" And he's like, "Philadelphia."
Yeah, I love that. That's one of my favorite jokes in the movie.
Your ancestors. Where were they from? Oh, New York. And I was just, the whole thing. It was funny, but I was just cringing the whole time it's such a bad stereotype.
I think for me, the fact that actor's gone on to do other things, and I've actually seen him in more current things, I'm like, this guy's, to me, it's like the most talented out of everybody, including, of course, we had the military guy who always is cast, he's the guy who's cast to be a military man, but really bad at being a military guy. Yeah. Oh, let's get that guy. He's always, that's the part he always plays, a horrible military guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Michael Ironside plays the tough, effective military guy.
Right. Yes.
This guy plays the loser military guy. They're the same set. And I should look up what his name is. I should have written it down, but
it was disappointing. It was disappointing. So, but
there you go. Well, next time, let us know how Short Circuit 2 is and if Siskel and Ebert got it right.
I'm not going to watch Short Circuit 2.
The military guy was
also I can't find it streaming. What's that?
The military guy was Captain Harris on Police Academy.
Okay, wasn't he also in Stripes?
Yes.
Wasn't he also in Stripes?
I don't know.
I think everybody was in Stripes.
Now and there's another great movie out of the 80s. So
that would be another good one to watch sometime to see about the appropriateness level, right? Because I remember it being hilarious.
I can already tell you, Police Academy. I don't know if anyone's seen it recently. I can just tell you, it did not age well. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it for 30 years. I can tell you right now, it did not age well. Just because of what I remember of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was Ruffles or maybe Kinder in the chat talked about Three Amigos and Blazing Saddles. Not anything that's going to age well, right? It's just not.
I didn't have a problem with Three Amigos.
So
I watched it and I thought it was okay. It's funny though because you watch Three Amigos and you can really see the it's kind of hard to explain, but Martin Short and Steve Martin, I mean, they still work together. They're doing a show on.
Oh, amazing! Only Murders in the Building.
Yeah, and they have worked together since then. But the things I've heard about Chevy Chase, you can kind of see it in that movie that people are like, you know what, you just stand over here and you do your thing. We're going to be over here and be funny. So that was the only thing that was really interesting about watching the Three Amigos. But I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was good. It did not seem too inappropriate.
Hey, Ruffles, Cloak and Dagger with Dabney Coleman. Oh man, amazing movie. I remember watching that as a kid.
I remember that. I don't remember anything. I remember very little about it. I love Dabney Coleman. I thought Dabney Coleman was one of the most underappreciated actors of the 80s.
He was great in 9 to 5.
9 to 5? Oh my gosh. I mean, well, he was. I mean, you walked away hating him.
You're right. You're right. He had such a little part, but it made such a big deal.
He was a horrible, horrible person, and that's what he had to be. And so, in fact, 9 to 5, by the way, folks, if you ever get a chance, 9 to 5 is fantastic. It's such a good movie. Also good. They made a musical out of it, and it's really, really good as well. So I highly recommend it. But Dabney Coleman, I loved him in a lot of things, and I remember Cloak and Dagger, as in it's a movie that came out in the 80s. I don't remember anything about it, but I know I saw it, and I know I remember really enjoying it. But
it was a comic book series, and the kid had an action figure. Yeah, and his childhood was terrible. His parents were divorcing, and he turned the agent into his imaginary friend who literally showed up for stuff. And then one day he gets on the bus and a legit spy is like dying and slips something into his backpack, and he starts getting chased by spies, and his imaginary friend that we can see, no one else can, helps him
get through
survive it. Yeah, get through it. It was a great story for the time, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, I still use the word plethora, Ruffles. Because of that movie, I still use the word plethora.
People can't use that word, and I don't instantly think, do you know what a plethora is?
Do you know what a plethora is? Yes. Anyway. Okay. So where are we at? 7:35. Fabulous. So we have plenty of time to talk about our top three.
Top three.
Top three.
Woo!
I know that's why y'all came. You want to hear from the minds of the Grognerds what are our top three, and this today only. We're going to do music. So we've decided.
80s.
Yes. Okay. 80s so music. It is 80s.
80s music.
We have decided that we're going to, and I got to switch this around so
we were there.
Both these. Yes. Is
we're there.
the 80s music, and we decided we're going to do bands or albums, just because there are some that the band didn't put out a bad album for me. The band that I'm going to list, they didn't put out a bad album. So and if I listed all three of them, I mean, so we will start. Who wants to go first? Should we roll a die?
Oh, we should roll dice.
Do you have a D20 around?
I'm ready. Of course.
Do I have a D20 around?
Well, I don't know. You were, yeah. Just checking, make sure. My D20 I got from SD-Way.
Oh.
SD-Way Gaming.
Woo.
This is for my character in the Red Dirt Outlaws, Nick. You got a chance to watch it. Just came out the other day. So there we go. Okay. Everyone roll a die.
Fun. Ooh, metal dice.
I got 10.
12. He was there in the 80s.
8.
12.
Oh, wow.
Brook.
Awesome.
Brook, start us out with your number 3.
Woohoo. Well, 80s music this was tough. This was really, really, really tough. So right before we do our number 1, I'll do a couple honorable mentions.
Yes.
But my number 3 is Back in Black with AC/DC.
Was that 80s? I thought that was 70s. I thought that was late 70s.
No, it's 81.
Okay.
I think, or 83. It's in there. It's cool. It's just got it's just great. I mean, it's just absolutely fantastic.
It was 1980 exactly.
1980.
Yep.
1980. Yeah. Yeah. So okay. Good choice. Good choice. Especially right in the beginning of the switch over from the heavy metal of Kiss and then to the hair metal of what we got from the 80s. Yeah, that's a good choice. That really kind of kicked off the hair metal scene of the 80s. My number 3 was The Whole Story by Kate Bush.
Oh, nice. I'm surprised. This is awesome.
It's kind of cheating because it is a greatest hits album. And it came right after Hounds of Love, which, oh my gosh, would have taken that spot as well. But it's a greatest hit, so it's got songs like Peter Pan. It's got Wuthering Heights. It is truly Experiment 4. It's Kate Bush's greatest stuff. And to this day, I can listen to Kate Bush and just be blown away by her voice. When she appeared in the season 3 of Stranger Things, I was like, you can't have a better person to kind of represent alternative music of the 80s than Kate Bush. And so the fact that they brought her back, when they brought her back in Stranger Things, she hit the top charts again. I'm like, that's fantastic. So Kate Bush, greatest hits, The Whole Story. Check it out. It's really good. Johnny.
So the 80s were interesting. I was all over the place in the 80s. I'm sure most of us were.
Not me.
I sorted these into top 3. I realized there was a progression. It's interesting. So I'm going to go with my number 3 was, and I base this a lot on, there's not a bad song on the album, and there's not a song on the album I would skip kind of thing.
Right.
My number 3, Michael Jackson's Thriller.
No, there you go. Yeah.
Of course.
Without a doubt.
To today, all these are going to shock you probably. But yeah, Michael Jackson's Thriller. There wasn't. I remember I had the double album you could unfold, and he was laying out the tiger, And and there wasn't a song on it I wouldn't listen to or sing along to.
It was
So,
it was it was an incredible album, and my wife had it. My sister had it. So we would listen to it all the time. There was no reason for me to have it. But really, in the '80s was where we really started to separate from pop music to alternative to metal music to country, and it really split up. I think now it's actually kind of almost come back to it could be either or, but back then was when we really started to see a split. But that was one of the final 84, the year of pop music. He was the king of pop.
Yep. And it was also for a certain generation, if you had no exposure to the Jackson 5, Thriller was basically your introduction to Michael Jackson.
It was, without a doubt.
100%.
Blew up.
Yeah, so, and that John Landis video, which of course was
changed the way they did videos.
Yes, forever. Yeah. So there was no doubt Michael Jackson, before that he'd had stuff not only with the Jackson 5, but solo. He'd done some stuff, but Thriller was it changed the world of music videos. It changed the world of music. He became the king of pop. So the great 100%. Number 3. Brook, number 2.
My number 2 is The Police. And if I need to choose an album, it's specifically Synchronicity.
Synchronicity,
but, I mean, you've got Can't Stand Losing You and King of Pain and Every Breath You Take and Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic and Zenyatta Moondada and over and over and over and over again. Spirits in the Material World. I mean, just songs.
Oh gosh, Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, so many things. So
that is a really good choice. I had totally forgotten about how Synchronicity is. That's fantastic choice. So
I loved it.
Woo! My number 2, it's Bittersweet. I listened to this over and over again. It's still on my disc in my car. I still listen to it over and again, along with Kate Bush. But this one, Tracy Chapman.
No.
And her solo album, which I listened to it and I still listen to it I thought there's 2 things that I notice every time I listen. One is everything she sings about is still means something today. It's still just as viable today. The problem is it's still viable today. 40 years later, we probably should have fixed the stuff that she's talking about on the album.
Right.
Every time I hear one of her songs, she's talking about it's coming. We're going to change. We're going to do that. And I'm like, yes, it is. And it didn't. It hasn't changed a frickin' thing. Sorry, Tracy.
If not now.
It's
one of her songs.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
And if not today, it's so love. And of course,
totally answered the bittersweet part. I was going to ask you and that you totally answered it. That's awesome.
It is a great album. I highly recommend it. Her voice is eerily beautiful, and most people only know her from Fast Car. But there are so many great songs on that album. If you don't know her story, for all of you out there, if you're too young, she was discovered by Robin Williams and Billy Crystal and Whoopi Goldberg when they were doing their comedy for the homeless. And she came out and they said, hey, there's this girl, Tracy Chapman. You guys should listen to her at the homeless shelter. And they immediately signed her up for an album because she was phenomenal. So highly recommend. Yeah, Tracy Chapman, debut album, Tracy Chapman. Very good. Johnny.
So this band is a far cry away from Michael Jackson's Thriller. Maybe not too far, depending on what you consider pop or whatever. But at the time, it wasn't. I saw them in concert in their prime twice. Have a guitar pick and a drumstick from them, which is unique. The drumstick is. This band had a song that was at number 1 on MTV's Top 20 Video Countdown every single day for almost 2 years straight. It was the first and only time MTV ever had to simply come on and say, we are going to retire this song from our Top 20 Video Countdown to just give someone else a chance and get it off the list. The album specifically is Hysteria by the band Def Leppard.
Ah, okay.
There's a track on that album that I wouldn't listen to, that I don't know the words to. Yeah, it's good stuff. It was Junior High.
Yeah.
It was
See,
great.
that was
It had
when I.
Love Bites, Rocket, Woman. Yeah, of course, Pour Some Sugar on Me, Animal. It was a great album.
And by that time, I had pulled away from all metal, and I hated metal.
Yeah, metal.
And so that's
Hard rock.
yeah, hard rock. Well, I mean, yeah, that scene was not
For the
mine at
time.
all. Yeah, and for
Yeah.
so for, and that's what I really. It's so funny because I do know, when people that I know from the '80s, and Johnny, you're a perfect example, is how the music we kind of went the same way, but we were on either sides of the street. Because I was more I was more alternative, and you were more of the metal, and I'm sure Brook was more pop.
Oh, just wait. The list isn't done yet.
Yeah, I know. Okay, Brook. How about we're gonna go into number one, but why don't we go to do some honorable mentions first before you do your number one?
Honorable mentions. I'll put. I've got. It's so hard.
I know.
So
I
hard.
know.
So I'm gonna grab 3 honorable mentions really, really fast. Def Leppard Pyromania. So was there. Prince, and totally for nostalgia. I could have. There's others that are right there in my brain, but totally for nostalgia. We talked about it last time. The Men at Work album.
Business as usual. Business as usual.
Yeah, business as usual. Right. So
fantastic.
That's honorable mention. It's got so much playtime in my room, just over and over again. But my number one is the album Eliminator by ZZ Top.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yes.
Look at that.
It's over. I mean, just over and over. You got Bad Girl TV Dinners, Under Pressure, If I Could Only Flag You Down, Give Me All Your Lovin', Sharp Dressed Man, Legs. I mean, it's one of those albums that for me, I can listen to almost every single track every time. So to just love it. Oh. So
see, that just made me think of another one too. But oh yeah, gosh, that's. I mean, '80s. It was such good music. I mean, really.
Yeah.
There was.
We should post in the Discord for patrons. We should go ahead and list like a top 10. We should each list like a top 10 in the Discord.
Yeah.
In the Plausible Deniability channel. So
I think it's a really good idea.
We'll throw that in a couple hours or a couple of days. So woohoo!
So
and you guys too. You guys should drop yours in too.
You should definitely. We'd love to hear from you guys because that's I think the funny thing is we found out more about each other on this music stuff than we did for movies and television. I think we'd be more in sync when we come to movies and televisions in the next couple of episodes because I think I think we will. I think there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to be a lot more similar. So, but again. My stuff was so much more into the alternative scene. So my honorable mentions were REM's Life's Rich Pageant, which just the moment I hear the first song in that one, I'm just like, I'm taken back. Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Welcome to the Pleasure Dome, which of course I got because of Relax, but oh my God, the entire album is so good. Now it's full of basically homoerotica, but it's a really, really great album. I mean, from beginning to the end, it is a great album. And then there's the other problem I had with was I loved bands, but I couldn't name like an album that really just grabbed, except for possibly Cyndi Lauper's "She's So Unusual."
Yeah,
which was, I mean, the entire album is so good. But you know, Duran Duran, The Cure, The Smiths. I mean, just so many great bands, but I couldn't think of any really one album from any of them. It's just all these great hits, all these great songs. Not hits. None of them really made any hits. They were all just beautiful songs to me. But in 1984, I had my best friend Kenneth, who sat me down and had me listen to a band that I couldn't get out of my head for the rest of the 80s. And it was Depeche Mode. Had me sit down with People Are People. And I said, what else have they done? He sat me down. We listened to Speak and Spell, Construction Time Again.
Okay.
And then later on with Black Celebration, I ran my Black Celebration tape and my Music for the Masses over and over again. Saw them, of course, in concert in 1988. And apparently, Orchestral Maneuvers for the Dark opened for them. And apparently, my wife saw the exact same concert. She was several rows in front of me. I hadn't met her yet. We wouldn't meet for decades. And she would say, "Oh, I saw Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. I opened for Depeche Mode at Six Flags." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh." So we went to the same concert. But anyway, Depeche Mode, from Speak and Spell to Music for the Masses, there's not a bad song. Oh my gosh. Just used everything. True. Loved it. So Depeche Mode, they're my number one without a doubt. Couldn't pick a favorite album from them. Just every one of them was just phenomenal.
I like that you ended on a progressive genre there for the time.
Yeah.
Nice twist and turn. Yeah. Johnnie. Okay. I have an idea for the, So I have some honorable mentions. I'm going to give it up for a friend in the chat here. And yes, George Michael Faith.
Yep.
Father figure, I'm going albums here if you haven't noticed. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Mother's Milk.
Ooh,
God. Red Hot Chili
Blood Sugar Sex Magic was good, but I feel like it was, and they still had that funk, but I feel like the last time they were truly Red Hot Chili Peppers was Mother's Milk. It was a great album, all the songs on it. My third and final honorable mention, the Footloose soundtrack.
Yeah.
Oh, I was a kid riding my bicycle, holding my boombox, blasting the Footloose soundtrack through my neighborhood.
It was hard not to mention. I almost thought about a lot of soundtracks from the 80s with Pretty in Pink, with Weird Science. There was a lot of great soundtrack albums that came out, but they felt like more of collaboration albums. And so you're absolutely right. Without that, my gosh, Footloose, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. The one you could nail it with and still follow is Queen and the Highlander, the unofficial Highlander soundtrack, right?
Yeah.
Every single thing on that. But what is your number one? Or you have another honorable mention?
Taking a little twist here also. My number one album was Document by the previously mentioned REM.
Mm-hmm.
And Life's First Pageant was great. Just a touch, as you mentioned, the first song they had on there, Swan Swan Hummingbird, was great.
I Am Superman
on Document. I had The End of the World, Lightning Hopkins, Disturbance at the Heron House, Finest Work song is amazing. The one I love, which if you listen to it, it's not a love song. I used to giggle every time the radio station would do requests and dedications. And someone, I'm requesting this to my boyfriend, Chuck. It's like, it's a song about someone cheating on. No, it's not a good song. But that album, and that was the moment when I heard them and I heard this album, that it's like all other music in the 80s stayed in the 80s, and I moved forward with the writing wave.
Good call. You're absolutely right.
That's fantastic.
You're absolutely right. Because I was before People Are People, before Depeche Mode. It was Night Ranger. It was Journey. It was either prog rock or metal rock. It was that kind of music to me. But once I heard it, and of course, probably about the same age, because you and I are about 5 years. Isn't that right, Johnny?
Yeah.
And so for me, it was earlier on in the 80s, but it was probably about the same age where you go, that's the kind of music I want to be attached to. And then just went with it all the way through the 90s. And by the way, just want to share this with you. Red Hot Chili Peppers. I had a poster. You know those posters they used to up to the post that you could pull off telephone poles? For the Red Hot Chili Peppers playing at VZD's.
No.
In 1984. It was long before they really hit it big, but they were touring around. And there was, of course, granted, I still wish I had that poster, but I did have that hanging up in my room back in 1984 was the Red Hot Chili Peppers opening at VZD's, when they were just a California punk band.
Oh,
so you mentioned I know they played at VZD's because I read that in an article recently. Unfortunately, the article was about VZD's
closing. Yeah, sadly,
they had a lot come
yep.
through in their early days, and yeah, there you go, Dunick.
Yeah,
F in chat for VZD's.
VZD's. I mean, it's another one. But yeah, I used to grab. They used to have posters. Those just great posters. They just pick up and we just grab them off telephone poles and put them up in our rooms and.
Craziness.
So yeah, 80s was great music. It was not the times weren't always that great, especially when we all pretty much thought we were going to die from a nuclear war at any point.
Had faith in the Star Wars program. Mostly because it was called the Star Wars program.
I didn't have the faith in the person who was trying to run that Star Wars program.
Reagan was going to put satellites in space with lasers that would shoot down the nukes.
But then what I did have faith in was in Sting from, I think, Island of the Blue Sea Turtles album and his song Russians, right?
Yeah.
We hope the Russians love their children too.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Sting was fabulous. Great, such great music, and that's why it's like when I listen to like the music from Stranger Things, I still have that. I have the album just because it's got some great music. And most of my music that I listen to in my car on my flash drive is a lot of '80s music, and it was good times when we were really exploring what we could do with music and how we could make it truly unique than stuff that had ever come before. And that was, and that's why I love things like REM. Yeah. Just,
you get that synthesizer vibe kind of playing in and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
I love wearing a music related shirt.
Yeah. CBGBs.
Yeah. Next week, are we going to do movies or TV shows?
Well,
what does the chat like to hear?
Yes.
TV shows,
TV shows
movies.
Yeah. So
let us know.
In 2 weeks, we can do movies or television.
While they're tallying that, Johnny, you got to go to a concert last night.
Yes.
Yes. We went and saw Windrose.
Oh, that's awesome.
They were the opening act for Rhapsody.
Yep, sounds
cool. Who did Windrose open for? Rhapsody of Fire? Yeah, Rhapsody of Fire. Before Windrose was Seven Kingdoms. So these bands they've been called power metal. They've been called symphonic metal. Their studio music sounds a lot better than their live. Not better, different than their live stuff because they get that symphonic feel going more. Windrose specifically is dwarf metal. They are famous for the song that Brook sang on our Extra Life live stream, Diggy Diggy Hole.
Diggy Hole.
Yep. It was great. There was a fourth band. There was an early opener that they were a great band. They were not part of any of that genre at all, but they were really great. They got the crowd fired up. They did a great job of that. It was a good stuff. Went out with Amanda, with Jeremy, with Germs to our chat fans there, and with Hal and the lovely Mrs. Hal, and I won't say names on the internet.
Right.
As sort of a Wayfinder Legends get together before our first recording session here coming up in a week. 2 weeks. Ours is in a week.
Yeah,
that one's in 2 weeks. Yeah. There's also a secret. I don't know. I'm going to let Amanda tell the secret on another episode or something that we do for some Wayfinder content about Windrose and the upcoming Pathfinder podcast. There's a significant connection. Yeah. Did you forget about that, Brooke?
No, I didn't. I was just playing along, but she is the one that kind of she's the one that did the magic for that. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
She's good stuff. I'm going to keep her around.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
So
I like it.
It looks like TV shows.
TV shows.
It'll be interesting because when I started making my list, I was like, really? Okay. Again, my biggest problem with TV shows was in the 80s, I stopped. I mean,
But you've gone back and rewatched them, right? You know, that's the thing. When I used to host trivia, we would ask questions about stuff. People are like, well, I don't know. That's from the 70s. And I'm like, do you know who Beethoven is? Well, yeah.
No. I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Choosing a favorite because in the 80s, I kind of stopped watching. Now, granted, yeah, I could go back and watch them, and I have.
Yeah.
But there were so many things that I just kind of stopped watching. I kind of stopped. Media was not my thing. Outside
in front of the TV. Yeah.
Music, definitely. But so most of my references to movies and television, as I was kind of writing this down, I was thinking it's actually kind of when I was almost a little bit younger. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to talk about. And I have some thoughts. that I will share with you in 2 weeks.
I've already got my list built, sitting right here looking at it, and I go, it's weird. What? So the next episode we'll do TV shows, and then the one after that we'll do movies.
Yeah.
The movies I got a little emotional with. I had like emotional connections to some of these movies in the 80s. Mm-hmm. Not Short Circuit by any means, but yeah, it was good stuff.
Now movies is the totally opposite. I went to see so many movies. I just didn't sit down and watch television shows, but movies, and there are still movies to this day that I will put in, and especially if you just show me a scene from a movie, and I'll just bawl. And it's not on my list, but for example, E.T., I sat down was about 10 years ago. I sat down, and it was the last 15 minutes of E.T. Turned it on. That's all I needed. Bawling my eyes out. Roommate comes in and goes,
every single time.
Roommate comes in and goes, what are you watching? I'm like, E.T. It's gonna be, I'll be right here. Right. So, yes.
It's so good. So, there is a woman named Lilith who is trying to unleash hell on the people of Sanctuary, and I have to go rescue them. In Diablo.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
And Michael's got to go to bed.
Time's wasted. So, hey, thank you so very much. We'll get TV shows next time. Make sure to subscribe to this show. Go to reddirtrpg.com and buy some stuff. Watch all our shows. Ring the bell. We love you guys. This has been Plausible Deniability. I'm Michael Cross.
I'm Brook Bullock.
Johnny Payne.
Thank you, guys. Take care.